The universe operates on principles that are both fascinating and complex. We call these principles the laws of nature, which are the foundation of our understanding. These laws govern everything from the smallest atom to the largest galaxy, creating a harmonious balance. Just as the universe has its laws, so too does the realm of thought and reasoning. These are known as the laws of logic, essential for clear and rational thinking. Understanding these laws empowers us to navigate the complexities of life. We can make better decisions when we think clearly and logically. Logic is crucial to our daily lives, influencing countless decisions. From choosing groceries to navigating traffic, we use logic constantly, often without even realizing it. But sometimes our thinking goes astray, leading us into confusion. We fall prey to logical fallacies, which are errors in reasoning. These are flaws in reasoning that can lead to false conclusions and misunderstandings. By understanding these fallacies, we can avoid them and sharpen our minds, enhancing our critical thinking skills. In this exploration, we'll delve into two common fallacies, the slippery slope and the straw man, and see how they distort our thinking. We'll learn to identify them and understand why they're misleading, helping us to think more clearly. Our journey through these fallacies will empower us to think more critically and engage in more meaningful discussions, enriching our lives. Let's begin our cosmic voyage into the universe of logic, where every thought counts. Imagine this, you're told that if you eat a single cookie, you'll end up eating the entire jar. It sounds absurd, right? But this is a common way of thinking. This is the essence of the slippery slope fallacy, a logical misstep that can lead to flawed reasoning. It argues that one initial action will inevitably lead to a chain of increasingly negative consequences, like a row of dominoes falling one after another. The problem, this chain of events is often presented without sufficient evidence to support the dire outcomes predicted. The slippery slope fallacy relies heavily on fear and exaggeration to make its point. It skips over logical steps and jumps to an extreme conclusion, bypassing rational analysis. Let's say someone proposes a new park in your town. It seems like a great idea, right? An opponent might argue, if we build this park, then we'll have to raise taxes. Higher taxes will drive people away, and soon our town will be deserted. This is a classic slippery slope argument. This argument uses the slippery slope fallacy to create an unrealistic and overly dramatic scenario that is unlikely to happen. The slippery slope fallacy is effective because it plays on our emotions, making us fear the worst. It's easier to reject an idea outright when it's linked to a series of negative consequences, even if those consequences are highly unlikely. However, by recognizing this fallacy, we can avoid making decisions based on fear and speculation, and instead rely on reason. We can instead focus on the actual merits of an argument, making decisions based on facts and evidence rather than fear. The debate surrounding data privacy often falls victim to the slippery slope fallacy. Opponents of strong data protection regulations might argue that such measures are the first step towards an Orwellian surveillance state. They might claim that if the government can access our online data, it's a short step to monitoring our every move, suppressing dissent and ultimately controlling our lives. While concerns about government overreach are valid, invoking the slippery slope fallacy in this case is misleading. It ignores the crucial role of checks and balances in democratic societies. Robust data protection laws can be implemented alongside strong legal frameworks that protect individual rights and freedoms. The slippery slope argument also disregards the potential benefits of data privacy regulations. Strong data protection can empower individuals, giving them more control over their personal information. It can also foster trust in the digital economy, encouraging innovation and growth. So, how do we avoid falling into the slippery slope trap? First, we need to critically examine the argument being presented. Are the steps in the chain of events logical and supported by evidence, or are they based on speculation and exaggeration? Second, we should consider alternative outcomes. Just because one action is taken doesn't mean a specific negative consequence is inevitable. Often there are multiple possibilities, and focusing solely on the worst-case scenario can be misleading. Finally, we should be wary of arguments that rely heavily on fear and emotion. The The slippery slope fallacy often uses these tactics to persuade people. By staying focused on the facts and using critical thinking, we can avoid making decisions based on unfounded fears. Section 5. The strawman, an argument built to fall. Imagine a fighter in a boxing ring, ready to face their opponent. Instead of facing their real opponent, they're attacking a straw-filled dummy, a mere stand-in. This is the essence of the strawman fallacy, a common tactic in debates and discussions. It involves misrepresenting an opponent's argument to make it easier to attack, often distorting the original point. Like the strawman in the boxing ring, this distorted argument is easily defeated, but it doesn't address the real issue at hand, leaving the core argument untouched. Consider a debate about school uniforms, a topic that often sparks strong opinions. A proponent of uniforms might argue that they can help create a sense of unity and reduce distractions in the classroom, fostering a better learning environment. A strawman argument against this could be, they want to stifle our individuality and turn our children into robots. This exaggeration skews the original point. This misrepresents the original argument, making it seem extreme and unreasonable, thus easier to dismiss. The strawman fallacy is often used to discredit an opponent or their views without actually engaging with their arguments, avoiding the real discussion. It's a way to avoid having a real discussion about the issue at hand, sidestepping meaningful dialogue. By recognizing this fallacy, we can hold ourselves and others accountable for addressing the actual arguments being presented, fostering more honest and productive conversations. Section 6. Climate change and the strawman. The debate surrounding climate change is unfortunately rife with strawman arguments. For example, someone who accepts the overwhelming scientific consensus on climate change might suggest that we need to transition to renewable energy sources. A strawman argument against this could be they want to ban all cars and force us to live in the Stone Age. This wildly exaggerates the original statement, misrepresenting the proposed solutions to climate change. This type of strawman argument is particularly damaging because it derails the conversation and prevents meaningful action. Instead of discussing practical solutions like investing in renewable energy infrastructure or implementing carbon pricing mechanisms, the debate gets bogged down in defending against absurd claims. By misrepresenting the arguments of those who recognize the urgency of climate change, the strawman fallacy allows people to dismiss the issue entirely without engaging with the scientific evidence or the potential consequences of inaction. Section 7. Confronting the real issues. The strawman fallacy thrives on misdirection. It distracts us from the real issues at stake by presenting a distorted version of the argument. To avoid falling prey to this fallacy, it's crucial to identify the core of the argument being presented. When engaging in a debate, listen carefully to your opponent's points. Instead of jumping to conclusions or putting words in their mouth, ask clarifying questions to ensure you understand their position accurately. Only then can you engage in a meaningful discussion. Remember, the goal of a debate shouldn't be to win at all costs. It should be to reach a deeper understanding of the issue and potentially find common ground. By confronting the real issues and avoiding fallacious arguments, we can have more productive and meaningful conversations. Section 8. The power of logical reasoning. The universe is a vast and complex place, but amidst its chaos there's an underlying order. The laws of physics govern the motion of planets, the birth of stars, and the expansion of space itself. Similarly, the laws of logic provide a framework for understanding the world around us and making sound judgments. Logical reasoning is an essential tool for navigating the complexities of life. It enables us to analyze information, identify patterns, and draw conclusions based on evidence. When we think logically, we're less likely to be swayed by emotions, biases, or misleading information. However, logical reasoning is not innate. It's a skill that needs to be developed and honed through practice. By learning to identify and avoid logical fallacies like the slippery slope and the straw man, we can sharpen our critical thinking skills and make more informed decisions. Section 9. Staying vigilant against fallacies. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, Earth is but a tiny speck. Yet it's on this pale blue dot that we grapple with complex issues that impact our lives and the future of our planet. From climate change to data privacy, these challenges demand clear thinking and reasoned debate. Logical fallacies like the slippery slope and the strawman threaten to derail these crucial conversations. They distort the truth, evoke fear, and hinder progress. But by staying vigilant against these fallacies, we can create a more rational and productive discourse. Let us be mindful of these logical traps, not only in our own thinking, but also in the arguments presented to us. By embracing critical thinking, demanding evidence, and engaging in respectful debate, we can navigate the complexities of our world with greater clarity and wisdom.